What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from The Last Corvette. So when I got this vehicle from the auction, it only came with one key fob, which is an OEM key fob. As you can see, lock, unlock, remote start, rear hatch, power hatch, and then basically your hazard or your alarm. And of course, the Chevy logo or the bow tie embossed into the back of the key fob or the cover. And then this here is an aftermarket one. Looks identical, except it doesn't have the bow tie or the Chevy logo on the back cover. And the reason is, well, it's trademarked. So when you're selling aftermarket key fobs, you can't really do that. Now, this one here I got off eBay some time ago, long time ago actually. And I'll share a link. It's about $20. And this here, like I said, this is aftermarket. So we're going to unlock the vehicle, lock the vehicle, okay, all the functions work. And, you know, I just want to prove that you don't have to spend a lot of money through a dealership or a locksmith. You can do this yourself, and we'll get into the details. I'll also add some pictures with instructions so you can see unlock, lock, gate, come on, there we go. This is a brand new key fob. I haven't really used it. So the buttons are a little bit sticky. There you go. Shouldn't say sticky. They're just super hard versus the other OEM fob that I've been using. And then, of course, we're going to do a remote start. A lot of people ask about that. So there you go. So everything works. I'm actually going to let it run since I started the vehicle. And it starts the vehicle. It will also start the vehicle if you just use a push start, just like this fob. Now, when I got this vehicle from the auction, it came with a single OEM fob. It was a repossession, right? So I'm assuming the bank, well, actually this was a credit union, they made this key. As I stated before, about 70% of all repossessions come without keys, right? So they get picked up by a repo truck, and then the bank or the financial institution will make one key to get the vehicle running, and then off to the auction it goes. If it's a super expensive vehicle or vehicle of value, they will make two keys. But this here is a prime example where you can buy a aftermarket key and it will work just fine if you program it the right way. Now, of course, to figure out which key fob you actually need to buy, regardless if you go through eBay or Amazon. Amazon carries the same exact fob without the embossed bow tie, but you need to take it apart. And the way you take it apart is, here's the button here. You take your key out, your blade, your heart key, and then you actually split the case. There's a little groove in there. You split the case like you would if you were to change the battery. You can look that up. It's very easy to do once you get the key out. You don't need a screwdriver or anything like that. And then on the back side, you will see the model number, the part number, also the frequency. That should match the seller's description, and they will definitely list that in their description. And of course, if you go the dealership route or a locksmith route, you don't really need to worry about it. They'll match it up for you. Now, the dealership is right around $250-ish to do these key fobs, to get them programmed. And like I said, you don't have to worry about a thing. If you go with a mobile like locksmith, you'll get charged $160. That's with the key fob. And of course, the price varies, right? It's all about make, model, key fob style, and all that stuff. So $160 is not bad. They'll come to you. They'll program everything. You don't have to do anything besides just pay them. So I'm all in under $20 with this key fob. But of course, one thing that remains is I need to actually cut the blade on this one. So this one, I'll pull it out and show you guys here if I can. So this is a blank blade. And what they need to do is they need to cut it. And like a dealership will use a VIN number to cut it. But I have the original, I shouldn't say the original, but the key that with a cut blade that looks like this. Sorry about all the camera angles, right? So this here is a key. And I'm going to tell you before I make a sit-down video and explain everything, it is very important that you have at least one cut key to teach fobs. or add fobs, you do need a hard key, because I should probably show you this. On most new vehicles like the Silverado, this Equinox, you have one access point to not only open the vehicle if, let's say, if the battery dies and there's some kind of a power loss. This here is on the driver's side. You have a little cap. You have a little access point there. You take a screwdriver and you pop this cap off. Sometimes they're a little stubborn, and all these door handles will move slightly. See that in and out? And what you want to do is, when you're actually removing this cap, you want to open the door handle all the way. And as you can see, there's a little tab, a little white tab right there. It slides in. So just be careful with it and kind of work it, it'll work its way out. It'll pop off, and you just basically wiggle it, it'll come off. Same thing over here. Well, this truck actually has a access point. On some of the upgraded models or other GM vehicles, they'll have a solid cap like that. So anyway, let me sit down and explain to you guys exactly what you need to do. And I will also walk you guys through different, I guess, situations or conditions when you need to add a fob. All right, I actually just thought of something that's very important on these Equinoxes and, let's say, GMC Terrains, because they're very similar. So once again, I'm walking up to the vehicle with the, we'll say, the aftermarket fob that I use to unlock, remote start the vehicle. So we'll unlock it. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things. For one, that that I'm for real, I will engage the vehicle, turn the volume down. Obviously the vehicle is running. I see no codes, nothing. But the reason I'm inside the vehicle, everything else I will explain and actually edit pictures that you can snapshot for, your own use, is when you're actually programming your key fob. On some vehicles, you'll have a little slot or something like that where you lay or you insert your key fob. Usually it's for when your battery dies in the key fob and you can't start the vehicle. You would set it into a certain position. All these vehicles are different, right? Like on other GM vehicles, somewhere in the glove box, you'll have a little pocket that this key goes into. Normally, the buttons are always facing the back of the vehicle. When you're programming key fobs, or when your key fob battery is dead, it actually lays flat like this in your front cup holder. The instructions tell you to basically face the key fob towards the back, but the transponder is on the back side. So when you're doing this procedure on GMC's, GMC Terrains or Chevy Equinoxes, or any other vehicle that calls, GM vehicle specifically, that calls for a key fob to be in a cup holder, front cup holder, you lay them flat with the keypad facing up, facing the roof. That's the main goal here, is to explain the exact position. Because if you set it like this, or like this, like the instructions say, you're not going to program, it's not going to pick up the key fob, and you're going to have to repeat the cycle over again. So just lay it flat like that. Like I said, and the same thing goes for when your battery dies. All right, so now I'm going to shut off the vehicle, and I'm going to restart the vehicle. Once again, aftermarket key fob. The OEM one works. It's the same thing. So obviously both of them work. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to tell you this. So I'm going to shut the vehicle off and lock it now. I bought this key fob for under $20, $20. Now, once again, I still need to cut the blank, which you can't take it to Home Depot or Lowe's. You got to take it to a dealership or a locksmith that specializes in auto keys or let's say vehicle programming, right? And that usually runs about $20, $20 to $25. So all in all, you'll be in, I'll say $50. If you buy one from Amazon, if you buy aftermarket key fob from Amazon, they range anywhere from $39 to like $50. So let's say you're still, I'll just give you like the high point, $80. That is still a huge savings, compared to just, paying somebody $160 or over $200 at a dealership. If you go the route that I'm going to show you, you can get one for $20. And then by the time you basically get everything done. You buy the remote, you cut your key, you're going to be around $50, $55. And yes, you're saving yourself time, you're saving yourself money, specifically if you take the vehicle to the dealership. And the way I'm going to close out this section here is if you're planning on using the dealership or a locksmith, you don't have to watch this video. This is for do-it-yourself and doing it right at the same time. All right, so I wanted to show you one more thing. I got the key that's cut that came with the vehicle out, and wanted to show you guys what to look for on your fob, regardless if it's Equinox or a different GM vehicle. So this is where your key usually lives, and I'll close it up and show you. But you want to separate it, and when you separate it, you can stick the same key right into this opening here. Let me kind of zoom out here. But you don't want to stick the key all the way in. You want to catch this upper lip and actually push up. You want to basically separate your top push buttons from the bottom. Now, when you open this up, you will obviously see that the back cover with that embossed Chevy logo has part numbers. Okay, and the part number, you not only have the model that needs to match your new remote, but you also have, let me zoom in here. Let me see. Oh, there we go, right here. So this right here is the part number itself. So you want to make sure that matches. And then, of course, your frequency, which is right there. It's HYQ4AA. All right, so anyway, so when you put this thing back together, and of course, the part numbers are going to be different. It all depends on the vehicle, and you know, this is a Equinox with remote start and obviously power lift gate. Some of them came with, you know, no power lift gate. So now I'm just going to snap this bad boy back together, just like that. It's kind of hard to do things with one hand. It's just, see, you got to line this tab here. Let me set you guys down for 1 second here. There we go. All right, so you basically want to align this tab here to bring the upper and lower together. And anyway, if you look now on the back side, this is where your key usually lives, okay? And I'll show you guys there in a second, but you want to be pushing up on this lip. You don't want to stick your key all the way in there because that's not separating anything. You literally want to have your key, and I'm going to try to do it with one hand again. You want to have your key, if I can get in front of the camera. Daddy. There you go. You want to have your key literally like this, and you want to hold the bottom firm and then push the front of it up, and then when you're done, the key slides in like so. And locks in like that. Okay, and then your release button is right there. So now let's look out the window and see if this still works. Yep, still works. All right, in the next video I will actually explain the programming, and like I said, I will include a picture of the sequence steps. I will include a picture of the eBay seller where I got this key fob from, and obviously I will go through why you need to do what you need to do, how it works, and what to do if something fails. What is going on, everybody? All right, so going forward with this whole key fob programming, you will see decent videos and also decent write-ups, including the one that I'm going to share from GM about programming key fobs. None of them tell you if you can actually reuse a programmed key fob, right? So let's say you have one key fob. You lost the other one, or in my case, you bought a vehicle with one key fob. Everyone will tell you that if you run through this procedure without calling a dealership or a professional certified locksmith, it will not accept a programmed key that's already locked and latched to the vehicle. That is wrong. It will. You will program this one first. You will program this one second. In a nutshell, it doesn't really matter which one becomes key fob 1, key fob 2, but essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to be erasing all of the key fobs off your vehicle. Now, if you have a existing key fob, okay, that works, even after you go through the procedures that I'm going to explain, you'll still be able to lock and unlock the vehicle. It's just not going to start. So if you climb in your vehicle, it's not going to recognize the key fob, and if you push to start, nothing is going to happen. So don't be alarmed. Now, once again, you can reprogram a key fob that belongs to your vehicle. You cannot reprogram a use fob to your vehicle, and that is because the vehicle is latched, or I should say the key fob is latched to a different vehicle. You can, like I said, erase all key fobs, and it will accept this key fob again because it doesn't need to be flashed. It doesn't come from a used vehicle, and that's why you see all of these key fobs, unless you're just buying it for the outer case, are new, aftermarket new, right? So they're basically nice and clean. That way you can attach them to a vehicle. So don't ever buy a key fob that's used thinking you're going to be able to go through this procedure. You're not. You always want to buy a clean fob or 2 fobs in case where you lost all of your fobs. And even if you do that, okay, or let's say this fob broke and that was the only fob you had, you just need to get a key cut, okay? That's important. A key is what starts the sequence. So regardless if you have a broken single fob and you're trying to add 1 fob, 2 fobs, 3 fobs, 4 fobs, you need a 1 hard key to start the sequence. Or if you have no fobs, you're gonna have to go with your title to the dealership. At that point, you're kind of screwed because you need to cut a new key, and then you can purchase the key fobs and actually start this sequence, if it makes sense, right? It's a little bit easier if you have 1 fob at least with a cut key. So in the instructions that I'm going to show you guys, I already explained the key fob position when you're programming, laying flat in the front cup holder, not standing up. Every GM vehicle is different. Like I said, some of them will have a spot where you actually drop the key in or insert the key. Easiest way to figure that out is either Google, or if you have your manual in the vehicle, just read through the manual, find the page. It'll show you exactly where that programming spot is. But it's very unclear for Equinoxes and GMC Terrains where the key fob has to be flat versus being vertical, okay? All right, so in my case, we'll start with this. I had 1 working key fob with a cut key. Now, I ended up buying a aftermarket key fob. Okay, when it came in, I obviously validated the part number and everything else like that and model number prior to purchasing. In the description, regardless if you go through eBay, if you go through Amazon, it will actually tell you exactly what these part numbers are, and you need to match those up. And of course, what I just said is don't ever buy a used key fob unless you just want to reuse either the back cover or the front cover or just the outer, basically skins or buttons. Don't use the fob to try to program to the vehicle, it won't. So the procedure is very simple. It takes about, I'll say 35 minutes. If something happens in between, don't you worry. So if you screw up, you just have to wait about 10 minutes. Okay, you're gonna reset the vehicle, and by resetting the vehicle, I'll explain that a little bit later on, but you can restart the sequence. So if it doesn't work the first time, you can try it a second time, a third time, a fourth time until you get it right. All right, so the sequence is this. You're gonna remove your little cover that's on the driver's side door there. You're gonna pry it off, work it out, and mine was a little sticky because I don't think it's ever been removed. Then what you're going to do is you're going to insert your blank or your hard key, okay? That's your blade, as they call it, inside the key fob, into the cylinder on the driver's side door. With the door open or with the door closed, it does not matter. You're going to cycle that key counterclockwise, so basically unlocking the vehicle 5 times and the time that you have is 10 seconds. So 5 basically quarter turns within a 10-second frame. Once you do that, it's going to take a little bit for the vehicle to actually wake up. A lot of times, if you had the door open, you're going to have to close the door and then open the door again. And your DIC, which is your cluster, will wake up and it will say that there is a programming is pending or key fob pending, something like that. I forget now, but I'll show you guys the picture. From that point, you need to either just look at your phone, your watch, or start a timer. You're going to wait 10 minutes, okay? After 10 minutes, you're going to cycle your door again. The reason you're cycling the door is to wake up your main cluster, your DIC. You're going to open your door. Your cluster is going to wake up and it's going to say basically the same message, and it's going to say push start. And you're going to push start the second time. You're going to wait another 10 minutes. Then 10 minutes is going to pass. You're going to, same thing, cycle the door again. Like I left the door closed and I would wait like, let's say 10 and a half minutes or something, like 11 minutes, right? You don't have to be like exact on the spot. And I would open the door for the third time. Now the third time, what happened? So 30 minutes now has passed. On the third time, it's going to tell you that it's ready to program or receive key fob 1. That's when you're going to take either your OEM fob or your aftermarket fob, and you're going to lay the fob flat in your front cup holder, and you're going to, just one time, you're going to push your push to start button one time. Once it programs the first key fob, it's going to tell you it's ready for key fob 2. You're going to lift up on your key fob out of the cup holder, and you're going to press your unlock button once. Okay, then you're going to take your key fob 2, and it's going to display that it's ready for key fob 2, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to lay it flat on the cup holder. You're going to push on your push to start button, okay, and then it's going to switch over to key fob 3, and then you're going to remove it out of the cup holder and press the unlock button again. If you're only programming 2 fobs, then you're done. If you're going to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 8, you just keep going with the same sequence. Now, when you're done, you're going to take your push to start button, even though it says it's ready for key fob 3, and you're going to hold it in anywhere between 5 to 12 seconds. That's kind of what the manual, the GM manual says 5 seconds. I've seen 12 seconds. So just be, I guess, on the safe side. Just push it in, hold it in anywhere between 5 to 12 seconds, and then you're good to go. Once you exit the programming mode, from that point on, you can try your key fobs one at a time. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to cycle your lock unlock to make sure the doors work. You can get out of the vehicle, try your hatch if you have that option, basically open and close your rear hatch. And then you can try the remote start. If the remote start works, then you know it's going to start the vehicle. In my case, what I did is I took one of the key fobs out, and I placed it on my Silverado, climbed back in the truck, and I tested, I believe, the aftermarket key fob first. So pushed on a brake, pushed to start, and the vehicle started. Same thing. Then I switched them out, brought my other key fob in, did the same thing, and then I tested out all the functions. And then you're done. That's it. That's it. That's all you need to do, and you're saving yourself money at the same time by doing this procedure and buying key fobs through Amazon or eBay, of course, with matching up not only the keypad layout, depending on your model, but also the part number and the model number. All right. So if something goes wrong, and let's say you forget to hit unlock on your key fob, or you hold the push to start button for too long instead of just pushing it once in between the key fobs, you're going to exit programming, and you could potentially either cancel out before you even set key fob 1, or you could just set key fob 1 or program key fob 1 and not 2. Don't worry. All you have to do is get out of the vehicle, and before you do that, if you did screw up, either just reset it by holding the push to start button 12 seconds, or just leave the vehicle, close the door, wait about 10 minutes, and then repeat the door cycle again. So you're going to put the hard key in counterclockwise 5 times, and then the process will start over again. So like I said, if something didn't work, or if you, let's say, have some kind of an issue where, you only program 2 fobs out of the 4 or 1 fob. All right, sorry about that. Had to cut the video short. My youngest kid needed some attention. But yeah, what I was trying to say is this. With this procedure, essentially you're erasing all the key fobs from the vehicle. And you can program up to 8 key fobs. And yes, if 1 key fob that you purchased, or 1 out of the 2, or 3 out of the 4, whatever it is, doesn't work, you can still cancel out your procedure by holding your push to start button for anywhere from 5 to 12 seconds. I would hold it for 12 seconds just to be on the safe side, and lock those program key fobs in. Or like I said, exit out and then wait about 10 minutes and then start over again by inserting the hard key into the cylinder, the driver's door key cylinder, counterclockwise 5 times within 10 seconds, and you can repeat the process. The second process is only if you have 2 fobs. So if you have 2 working fobs, it's basically less of a weight, essentially. But if you have 2 working fobs, you don't need to erase the fobs. You can actually just add a fob. And the procedure is the same, but you're actually putting both of the fobs in the vehicle. And it's going to recognize, do you have fob 1 and fob 2? And then from there you can program fob 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? But this here is the safest method, because even if something goes wrong and you're only able to reprogram, let's say, the fob that you had, you'll be able to lock that in. I always suggest that you do start with a known good fob that's programmed to your vehicle. And if your aftermarket fob, for whatever reason, doesn't want to program or attach itself to the vehicle, you can stop right there, and at least you'll be able to drive the vehicle until you get a different fob or a refund or whatever it is. You definitely don't want to brick your vehicle, that is. And yeah, this works. I just showed you guys. There's no issues. Just follow these simple steps. If you have further questions, obviously just comment below. But yes, save yourself about $100 or so, and just do it yourself. What's going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. So as you can see, I'm programming a second key fob in this Equinox, and I'm going through the procedure. It says remote learn pending.